Okay, so the MLB Players Association submitted their proposal yesterday to the owners in an attempt to potentially try to take a step forward here to end this lockout with some substance. And we were told by a lot of the baseball reporters and insiders that much of it was supposed to be revolving around the more contentious issues like collective bargaining threshold, expanded playoffs, things like that. And, some optimism was borne out. And not by everybody, but I know by me. And I was expecting the owners to show a little bit of flexibility, and the Players Association show a little bit of flexibility. But here's what happened. I have some details here. I'm going to go over it. Before I do that, please hit that subscribe button to the channel. It's really helpful to the channel's growth. It also spreads it to other baseball fans around the world. And hit that bell icon so you don't miss other videos, especially once this lockout ends and the things that lead up to it and every free agent move and trade that happens afterward. And if you haven't seen the video I put out on the actual proposal put forth by the Players Union, that's in the description below, so you'll know the meat and potatoes of this. So with that, the owners came out today and trashed it pretty good. They said it was a step backwards and a worse offer that they got the last time, which was it's already been contested by the Players Association. Now, some details with that. There was actually no movement at all on the collective bargaining threshold, which confused me and frustrated me, and I'm sure it frustrates a lot of other people. This is one of the things that needs to be negotiated more, and they met for almost 2 hours yesterday, okay? And all they can come up with were a couple of things, and I'll get to that in a second, but no movement at all on the collective bargaining threshold. The Players Union did not move off their $238 million floor, which progressed up to $263 million over the next 5-year period. And the owners stayed at $220 and moving up to $230. But I did hear that the owners have a little bit of wiggle room. So it might be smart for the Players Association to lower their demand a little bit, maybe to $230. That could be a sweet spot, okay? And secure up to $250, $5 million over the next 5 years or something like that. $5 million per year over the next 5 years. And that might be a sweet spot that you can actually get some traction here, especially if the owners are now showing a little bit of wiggle room and flexibility. Don't abuse that. Take advantage of it, okay? And it sounds as if they're, almost in agreement on a 14-team playoff, and we'll see what happens there. There's some, I guess, wiggle room there and whatnot, but the collective, this could have been, a huge progress point today, and it wasn't, unfortunately, yesterday, and it wasn't, unfortunately. And so that's why I'm kind of disappointed in what the Players Union did not do. But again, this is why I keep saying tone deafness on both sides. And this was, I think, a missed opportunity for the Players Association, especially since they secured other things, a massive raise, pre-art bonus pool that they did lower by $5 million, but they're still $50 million apart with the owners. The owners have proposed $30 million for pre-art players, and that's based on essentially performance, where the salaries are based on service time, and the union's at $80 million now. So again, still $50 million apart. That's another contentious point that they need to come to an agreement on. Okay, nothing today on that, except, and again, do you honestly think going down $5 million when you're $50+ million apart is going to get it done? No. Again, Players Union, it's not going to get it done. But it is what it is. And MLB is expected to announce a cancellation of more regular season games either tomorrow or the next day, or maybe even today. So that's unfortunate. I don't know how many games, but we've already lost like 6 or 8 games the first 2 series. They might announce 2 more series or whatnot. They've already announced pushing back spring training until at the very earliest March 18th. So don't be surprised if we wind up with a 140-game season. And again, these things could have been mostly preventable, especially since they did absolutely nothing in the first 6 weeks during this lockout, which were already past 3 months. So the optimist in me says, there's still room for common sense here, but I'm still going to light a fire under both their butts. These are the 3 concessions that were, agreed upon today by the Players Association. And, the agreed upon by them, that was requested by baseball. They wanted larger bases, which I don't really understand, but I guess, Robbie Hyde actually made a good point with bigger and more athletic players and whatnot sliding at the bases. So I understand the logic of that. So that's a good point by Robbie Hyde. And if you haven't seen his channel, go take a look at his channel. He's got a really good baseball channel. And pitch clock, which I totally understand. One of the biggest complaints that the games are slow and boring, so a pitch clock can help facilitate that one. And the other one is shift restriction. And okay, I understand that one too. And restricting the shift. I mean, which I personally, it's a little confusing to me, but because I think players should be able to hit both ways if you're at a major league level. But restricting the shift. Those are the three things that were agreed upon today, essentially. So meat and potatoes, were left out, and they went after the little side salad and the trimmings today. And that's pretty much. So I understand why the MLB owners trashed their proposal, because the union did not budge at all from the collective bargaining threshold. So, and I understand the union side here too. They have secured some, or have given some more concessions. So, but at this point, what they've secured, it makes it look like almost reasonable here. Even $30 million pre-art bonus pool is a good starting point that they could increase over the next 5 years over CBA. They've already secured that, and there's never been a pool before. So that's $30 million extra dollars that they've already gotten, and a monster 20+% raise for the young kids too. So, and other things. They got universal DH. They have a whole bunch of other things, and hopefully these things still are in place here once an agreement is made. And but that's essentially what was discussed, and the MLB owners' response to the proposal put forth by the union. And they pretty much clearly said it was worse than last week's. And I personally, I don't necessarily agree with that, because they did get more concessions. But at the end of the day, they obviously are trying to break the union here and get them to fold, and vice versa. So, but it's going to cost the league more games, and again, players are just going to lose more money and more money and more money, especially the young kids. So that's unfortunate, but hopefully cooler minds will prevail. I'll keep you updated on everything. The next counter proposal, whatever, once they announce how many games are canceled or whatever it is, I'll put that out for you as well. So keep it coming, guys. Have a great week. Talk to you next time.